Hello everybody, welcome to this video. My name is Matt Giancarlo, this is Eric Busio. We're here at Crimson Guard Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in Oak Lawn, Illinois. What we're going to do is not necessarily an instructional video, it's more of a demo video. Alright, if you're watching, this is for somebody who's brand new at Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. It's not for somebody who's trained 6 years, it's not even for somebody who's trained 6 months. It's somebody who's just starting and they don't really know the basics of positioning and concepts to Jiu Jitsu. Alright, this is like the very beginner's steps of what to expect and what we're looking for, whether it's sport jiu-jitsu, it's mixed martial arts, or it's self-defense, whatever you're in it for. We're going to go over various positions and just to be able to identify things, terminology, so on and so forth, and I guess you could say basic strategies as well on what we're trying to achieve when we're rolling or in a competition, or what we're trying to avoid as well. Alright, so what I want to start with first is the concept of guard. Alright, there's various types of guard, and the more you train, the more you roll, the more you develop different types of guards, but we're going to go with the most common right now. It's closed guard, or what people will just usually just refer to as your guard. Alright, full guard, closed guard, however you want to call it. We're going to have one person on top, one person on bottom. So Eric's going to go into his closed guard, if you will. And what he's doing, if you notice behind my hips, is he's closing his ankles, okay? That prevents me from escaping, all right? His legs are pretty strong. Anybody's are usually going to be a lot stronger than my upper body. He essentially has me trapped. Now, contrary to common belief, he's actually in the dominant position. He has access to his hips and his legs directly. I don't have mine because what's blocking my hips and legs? His. Okay, so he has an abundance of sweeps and submissions that he could use from here. My objective from being in somebody else's closed guard is to pass, which means I need to break the guard by separating his legs, and I need to get around where he doesn't have access to both legs immediately, and where I could access my hips, my legs, to be able to control him. Alright, so again, just because I'm on top doesn't mean I'm always winning, alright? If I'm in somebody's closed guard, I'm not thinking submissions at all, I'm thinking getting out of here. Alright, next position we're going to go through is going to be half guard. Alright, that is when, let's do it on this side, he has one leg of mine trapped. Alright, this is pretty neutral of a position. He has attacks and sweeps from bottom. I have some attacks I could do from here. A lot of times you could access half guard when you're trying to break the guard and guard pass, and we end up here, okay? So if I'm passing his guard, which we'll get over a little bit later, he might lock onto one of my legs. So if you look, this right leg of mine is trapped, alright, but I still have this leg free. Alright, so the moves that he could do from his full guard, a lot of them, most of them are gone. However, he does have other options as well. Okay, so that's going to be half guard. Like I said, this is more of a neutral position now. I could start attacking from here. Alright. If I advance further, we're going to be in side control. This is prime, alright? Side control is excellent position in a tournament. You're either going to get passing points, or other tournaments you get side control points. Alright, very dominant position. I'm going to be on the side of him, alright, hence the name side control. If I want to have a good base over here, I'm going to hook the head and I'm going to shove my shoulder into his face. I generally want to have him looking away, alright? This hand over here, very common to underhook. Underhook means we're going under the arm. All right, I don't necessarily want to lock up my hands in case he's trying to roll me, but I have a wide variety of attacks from side control, whether it's gi or no gi, to do from here, okay? His objective on bottom is to escape, whether it's getting back into his guard or scrambling and getting to his feet. He does not want to stay on bottom in side control, all right? It's fine to be on bottom in your guard, half guard, side control not so much, all right? We've completely flipped the script where me being on top in side control, I'm the one with all the attacks, all right? He's the one who has to get out, all right? Next position over here, and this is big if you're doing tournaments, is mount. Most tournaments are going to give you 4 points or mount. Some of them will give you 2 points. Very dominant position, especially for MMA. You could ground and pound, so on and so forth. Sport Jiu-Jitsu, we have also an abundance of submissions that we could set up. We have chokes. We have joint locks. So on and so forth. From mount, okay? This is another position that's prime. Some people prefer side control, some people prefer mount. All right, again, because we have a lot of moves we could do from here, but there's also a lot of moves that you could set up and mount and go into side control, or vice versa, set up at side control and finish and mount. Another one I will just demo is called knee on belly. It's as simple as it sounds. From side control, we're gonna take our knee that's closest to the hip, we're gonna pop it up and put it right on his stomach, and I'm gonna base out with my foot like this. All right, on this side, over here, knee that's close to to his hip, and I'm putting all my leg over here. It's gonna go on my foot. All right, so I can rest my weight directly on his torso. Okay, and we could set up moves from here, but for tournament people, good way to score points as well. All right, last position, he's gonna sit up. This is considered, let's turn this way a little bit, considered the most dominant position, because it's hardest for him to get out. I have a lot of really good finishes from here. This is when we have their back, all right? I want 2 hooks in, which means my legs, all right? Right over here. 1 hook, 2 hooks. What I'm never going to do, which is a common mistake that people will make when they're new, is they'll lock up their ankles just as if they were in their closed guard. He could actually break my leg right off. I don't want to do that. Very bad thing to have such a good position and lose to a mistake, all right? So I want my legs inside but not crossed. Generally, a safe position like this, I'm gonna have what's called a seatbelt, all right? If you're sitting in a car, the seatbelt goes over your shoulder, down in between, and you click it, right? Same thing with our hands. We're gonna make that seatbelt just like this. Over on one side, under on this side. So I have my underhook from the rear, my overhook from the rear, and I'm going to grab one on my hands like this. There are plenty of chokes we could do, and chokes are the base of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. We could use the collars and his lapels to set up various chokes. You also have arm bars, so on and so forth from the back. All right, but the best thing about having back control, and again, tournament people, aside from me, you're usually going to get 4 points here, is that his escapes are difficult, and I have a lot of low-risk moves. If I'm going for a rear naked choke here, and he's blocking it, I don't lose position. I just go on to my next attack, all right? So it's a very conservative spot to be as long as you can control them and maintain your hooks. And if you can keep attached to that back, you're in a really good spot. All right, so what I'm going to do now is basics of guard passing. All right, as I mentioned before, we're trying to advance our position. I'm not thinking of attacks. I'm not thinking of submissions. All right, right now, all those are out the window. I'm only thinking about getting out of his closed guard. All right, there's 2 steps to this. We need to break his guard, which essentially means opening it up. His legs are locked. I don't want them locked. I need them open. All right, so we do the guard break. And then we do the guard pass, which is us advancing in position. All right, a very simple one that you may learn on your first day, all right, at anywhere you go. All right, pretty basic, but very high percentage. All right, I'm gonna double grab his lapels over here. I use this arm to stiff arm him and keep him back in case he's trying to set up submissions. I could use this to my advantage to try to keep him down. My other hand is gonna grab onto either his belt or his pants, and what I'm trying to do is I'm going to aim my elbow right in his thigh. One other thing I want to think about, just besides my overall posture, is where my knee is. I'm going to take this knee, and I'm going to put it right in his tailbone. So it may be comfortable to sit here with one knee on each side of his hip, but I'm going to adjust that knee and sit back. Now, it makes his posture off, and it's harder for him to keep his legs locked, all right, because it's very uncomfortable to have my knee just driving into his tailbone. All right, a combination of that and me putting pressure from my elbow on this hand right into that meaty part of his thigh, it's going to cause a lot of pain and pressure, and it's going to cause his guard to open up. All right, I press this down, and I immediately feel that guard is open. I'm going to drive my shin across. Let's spin around on this side now. We're going to just do the same thing, just for another angle. Go ahead, lock it up. All right, so I have the belt, knees in the middle. I'm gonna pressure down with my elbow, and I'm gonna bring my shin over here. All right? I'm keeping my shin here until the very last step. I'm gonna go chest to chest and hook this head. My outside leg is gonna extend, and I'm gonna bring it all the way over here. Think about a windshield wiper on a car. We have the long arm, goes all the way across. And then my last thing to do is this final leg, and I bring it back out, and I'm gonna walk my knees in and put shoulder pressure onto his head. The reason why we use this leg last, go ahead, lock your guard up. All right, think about a paperweight or a thumbtack. We're pinning this down, all right? If I lift this up, think about something falling down, all right? Or paperweight, fan blows the papers off the desk. He's gonna wanna move his leg. If I shoot this across and take it out, he's gonna lock up his half guard, which is the position that we spoke about before. So if we're doing sport jiu-jitsu, I do not get my passing points or my side control because we're still in a neutral position, and it takes out a lot of my movement. I can't advance to mount, north, south, or his back if I'm stuck in his half guard. All right? If I have my shin across here and my foot tucked inside his leg, he cannot lock up his half guard. All right? Because I have this leg trapped. I come over here, and this leg's going to pop out. That way we can guarantee a successful pass. Let's go my guard. Face that way. Okay, so if I'm in my closed guard, as I mentioned earlier, the guy on the bottom is actually going to be the one attacking. Okay? We have sweeps, and we have various joint locks and chokes, so on and so forth. All right? There's a few concepts that we think about when we're in somebody's guard, whether it's top or bottom. All right? I always explain the center line. All right? So if Eric's on top, and if he imagines a line going right down my body, from my head all the way down my waist, all right? He's not going to want to cross that line with his limbs. Right arm stays on his right side, left arm stays on his left side. The reason why is, and I'm being conscious of the center line as well on bottom, but to use it to my advantage. All right, one of the most common moves that you're ever going to see in submission grappling or mixed martial arts is an arm bar, okay? And we could set it up pretty easily from our full guard. If they either make that mistake of bringing this arm over here, or if I physically take their arm across my own center line. All right, so I'm going to trap the arm down at the tricep. His right arm is no longer on his right side, it's on my right side, so it's going across. All right, that's going to work to my advantage. I'm going to open up my guard and I'm putting my hip right, or my foot right on his hip. All right, I'm taking my hand, pushing his head this way, or you could even grab onto the shoulder part of the gi. This other leg is going to swing up really high. I have made an angle now where I'm no longer square with him, and I'm going to take this hand, push the head away, and now I have my arm. All right? This arm bar is going to be executed by me pinching my knees together, keeping his thumb to the ceiling, and I'm going to bridge up while I pull down at the arm, causing him to either hyperextend his arm or to tap. One more time, just to see it a little bit faster. We also have an abundance of sweeps, and there's plenty of other submissions. That's just one example. I'm going to do one example of a sweep, basic one called a bump over roll. All right, so if he's in my closed guard over here, I'm going to open it up and I'm going to sit up, and when I sit up, I'm going to reach over on this side. So my right arm is going to go to his right arm. All right, it's okay if I cross my own center line if I'm on bottom. I just don't want to do it on top if I'm in somebody's guard. All right. And I'm going to use my foot here to assist myself in sitting up, and I'm going to want to keep it on the mat for this. So when we're going for submissions and sweeps, it's fine to open up our guard, okay? We're going to use that to our advantage. Here, and I'm going to sit up, and I'm going to put my arm either on the mat like this at my elbow, or I could go up high. It's your preference, all right? But I want to do this where I'm up nice and high. I don't want to be trying to lay on my back and reach over. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to get any momentum. All right, I'm up high like this. I'm going to force myself up with this back leg. I'm gonna hook this inside leg over here, and when I start to shoot myself up with this leg, I'm gonna ram my hips into them. Gaining a sweep, and I access mount. So that was some of just the most basic concept of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. All right, it's endless, it's limitless. Okay, that's just the very things that get your feet wet. All right. If you have any questions on any of the techniques that I went over, either message me on YouTube or contact me through the contact box at crimsonguardbjj.com or crimsonguardbjj@gmail.com if you want to send a direct email. And I hope you enjoyed the video.